everybody. Welcome to Realtor Reputation, episode 3 of season 3. We are very, very happy to see you this week.
Yes.
So, we switched our schedule. We're every other Thursday because, you know, spring selling season, I think it got to us. And anyway, we're busy and we work full time and we're moms. And there we are.
Here we are.
So we've got some fun stuff for you this episode. Let's start it off with our mom moment of the week. You want me to go first?
You go first, because yours sounds very exciting.
Okay, so I went prom dress shopping with my daughter, and we had to set up an appointment at Scarlett in Windsor.
Okay.
Which actually, she's like, Mom, I set up an appointment, and I, like, in my head thought we were going to Petaluma. What's that one called on the boulevard?
Oh, on the boulevard. Yeah, I don't know, but
that
it's
wedding
like
store.
yeah.
It's like Bliss or something. So in my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to Petaluma on Sunday. No, I went to Windsor, and I was so thrown off because I had to take my kid to, anyway, day in life, right?
Yeah, day in the life.
So we go to the prom store, and which is also a bridal store, and they have this whole, like, section for prom dresses. And my daughter thought she wanted like a sequence dress,
right.
You know, like Taylor Swift, but she's a plain Jane. She's just like,
she didn't want everyone staring at her as she glittered like a disco
So she tried on one that she thought she liked, and she's like, I don't like this whatsoever. So she was trying on a few of them. She probably maybe like 6 or 7 of them, and she puts on this one dress, and you know exactly.
I know.
So prom, you have to go.
Was her vajayjay showing?
I'm like, that doesn't fit you. Like,
you're like, hello!
And they're like, well, you know, it's not her size because they have to cinch it and stuff like that. And I was like, it has nothing to do with the size. It has everything to do
with the slit.
So the lady starts cracking up because I was like, Bea, your vagina's going to be hanging out if that's the case. And she's like, Mom, stop. You're embarrassing me. And I'm just like, but nobody wants to see that.
Yeah,
like,
nobody wants to see your butt cheeks or your vagina.
That's exactly right.
Be really clear.
I'm just like, but
if they do, just like please wear like full underwear.
But
that's all I'm just saying.
It was just hilarious because there's these like young girls who are helping, and I guess I'm the mom where I tell it like it is. I'm very vocal, and I'll be like, you are not wearing that. Like,
or I always say, your father will not let you out.
I'm just like. Yeah.
And Abby says that she dresses like a nun compared to others.
Whatever.
And I'm like, oh, well.
Yeah. And and then in addition to that, I didn't realize, like, I don't know, Alyssa, when she went through prom, she was very savvy. She, like, borrowed or rented a dress off her friend's older sister. She found these dresses, and it was always like, oh, I'm wearing this to prom. Okay, great. I guess I never, like, went through because she always had just... Maybe we bought her a dress, but it wasn't
resourceful.
But the cost of these weddings
it's like a wedding dress.
Oh yeah, and my husband's like, "Wow, how much did you spend?" And I'm like, "Well, we had to order it. It has to be shipped here. Blah blah blah
then
blah."
Then you might have to alter it.
Like $400 later, and I'm just like, "How? What?" So I'm gonna literally propose to her, like, you're gonna rent out your prom dress for the next how many years?
That's a great idea. You know, in Marin, so I was just down in Corte Madera the other day, and there's actually like a prom store there. Like, it's like right next to Macy's is closing, and there's like, it looks like recycled prom dresses.
Oh, really?
And I think you can go in, and I don't know if you could bring yours in, and I think you buy them, but they're like, I mean...
Great idea.
They're very nice, but I was like, because the girls don't want to wear it a second time.
Well, and I told Bea, I was like, your sister, because I moved her recently. I was like, your sister's got 2 prom dresses in her closet.
Yeah,
why don't you just wear one of those? She's like, I don't want to wear one of those.
So old-fashioned.
I mean, like, it's not old-fashioned whatsoever, but she ended up picking this really pretty, like, lilac. It reminded me of Taylor Swift. It's this, like, lilac plain. It's got, like, a little bit of sparkle to it, but not, like, sequin sparkle. It's just, like, the material.
Leaves a little to all her body parts.
It does. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a slit, but I'm just, like... And then I'm bummed because I'm going to be out of town for prom.
Oh, I know, you told me that.
And I'm just, like, whatever. So, at least I got to do that.
I mean, that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
But I remember, so I was in my brother's wedding a couple years ago when my sister, who is at the time was like 25 and I'm not 25, and my sister-in-law's sisters, most of them are younger than me, like in their 20s and 30s, and she finds these dresses. And the slit was up to my vajayjay. And I was like, oh my God, when I walked, like, nobody wants to see this.
No.
Nobody wants to see
No.
this. So I had to take this dress, and this is what's the killer for me, to an alterations person.
Uh-huh.
And it was $300 to like sew the slit, to make it fit me properly. The dress was like $100, and I had to pay $300 for the alteration.
It's crazy, but I feel like everything has gone up.
But it was just, it was one of those things where
I'm like, oh
I was
my
like,
goodness.
who makes this? Like, did you run out of thread? I don't know.
No, and it was fun. We had a really good time. You know, it honestly only took us like at less than an hour to like. She's very much like one of those kids. She knows what she wants. She got it.
That's like Abby.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky that we found what she wanted. But
that's good to know. There's a store up there.
There is. Yeah, I mean, you have to do it by appointment, but yeah, it was easy in and out. Yeah, they're cute. Oh my gosh! But actually, while I was shopping there, they have these. You know, in the Eras tour, how Taylor Swift had those sequence like Louis Vuitton boots that she would wear.
Yes.
They have one that looks, I was like, ooh, I want to buy those boots. And she's like, they're so hard to walk in. And I was like, but what can I wear them to? Like, I feel like I'm going to go back just to buy these boots. They're these knee-high boots.
Were they like the sparkly?
They were all sparkle. Like, I want them in my life. I just need to find an event to wear them to. I mean, I could wear them to work.
Well, aren't you
Be
going
like,
to
I'm
Vegas?
gonna go on a.
Aren't you going to Vegas?
No, not anytime.
Oh.
I already went to Vegas in December. I'm going to New York. I'll just be walking down the streets in New York. And these freaking.
Well, you could just go. I mean, you could just pretend like we're selling Sonoma and just wear them.
Could you imagine? I go on a listing appointment. Hi, I'm here to sell your house in Bennett Valley.
I could get you a little leather mini skirt. You're like, hold on, let me find
I'm
a
just like,
box.
oh my God, they are everything. I should have taken a picture and sent them to you because I was just like, I need those in my life.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I'm gonna buy them.
I mean, sometimes, and then if you found something, you wouldn't have them. You know, like when you see something. My husband always says, you have to stop buying the things that you see.
I know.
Because I do this for my clothes, for girls, for sports. Because I also feel like the seasons are so weird.
Right.
So like right now, it's freezing out. But if you don't buy a bathing suit, then when you need a bathing suit, there's going to be like snow clothes.
Yeah.
So you kind of, and then if you want your size, like I feel like, I know we've talked about this before, but I am a in-person shopper.
Yeah.
I know like, I don't think you like it that much, so you're more of an online shopper. I'm just really bad at returning things, so I end up with all this crap that I don't need. Mm-hmm. So I like to go and I like to try things on.
Yeah.
And I just find it like if you don't, they have like, they order like one or two of every size. So like if you don't get it, then you're not going to be able to find it.
Yeah.
And then I also heard, I think you were sharing, but I was like snooping around Montgomery Village the other day. And like, oh my God, did you see like all the renovations they're doing?
Yeah.
They're getting an ice cream, like cool ice cream store. They're getting what, Free People?
Free People movement is already there and open.
Oh my God, I have to go.
And the talk of the town or word on the street is there's supposed to be an anthropology going in there. So I'm super excited because I am a big time, like, I'll order everything that I see online. I'm really bad with returning, but my daughter works in Corte Madera. So if I order anything from Anthropology, I'll be like, hey, can you just go return this for me?
I mean, if they could just like secure the Anthropology in like a J. Crew for me, I would never have to go.
I mean, seriously. But the whole Cattleman's,
is that where the Anthropology is going to be?
I don't know exactly, but they're like, splitting it into two separate suites because that whole building is big.
Well, because there's also where like Soul Desire was.
Yeah.
And like the other, there was another.
Where Black and White is?
No, yeah, kind of. But in the front, like by Knee Spa.
Yeah.
There's like two big spaces there.
Yeah, because
there
the soft store went away. But my husband, because he does construction and stuff, he was talking about it. And we went to Sea Tie the other night.
Oh, I love it there.
And like the whole roof is off where the Cattleman's was, but he said that they're splitting it into two spaces. So,
but I mean, that's very exciting for us because I feel like, you know, being in real estate and selling in Sonoma County, the shopping sucks. Like, excuse me, but like, it's awful.
Well, the mall is like non-existent now. Like, does anyone go
to
the
the
mall?
Like, what are those stores? They're like cheap or choice or I don't even know.
Well, and a lot of it is geared towards teenage kids. Like, I'm a grown woman. I don't want to go to...
You don't want a spandex tube top?
No. And I don't want to go... Like, as much as I liked Abercrombie when I was growing up in high school, like... I have a body of a woman, not of like a 12-year-old. So
Yeah, you're not a stick.
no, God,
Well,
no.
then it's really hard because it's really funny because when I have two different body type daughters, right? You have Abby, who's a stick, and then I have Safi, who's a full-bodied, girl. So I've been trying to find these dresses because it's hard to find clothes that fit Safi. And Abby too, like she has a hard time being, things are too short or like being gangly, like things don't fit her either. So I was down in Novato the other day and they have a Torrid there, which is nice because it's for plus size girls. So I'm walking in there and it just made me laugh. And this lady comes up to help me and she's like, "Hi, I just want to see if I can help you with sizing." Guess I don't have the Torrid body type. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm shopping for my daughter." She's like, "Oh, so you have a plus size child?" I'm like, "Well, I just call her healthy, but okay,
My goodness.
But it was I don't think she wants to be called plus size.
Yeah. No, and I think it's just going to be nice to have variety.
Well, that's what I mean. And it was so nice to see that there actually like is a store that like if she needs a variety or they actually can fit her chest size or something.
For sure.
They have that. But it was so funny that like, "Ma'am, you're in the wrong store." It made me laugh.
What about you? What have you been doing?
I've just been literally trying to get adjusted to the new spring sports schedule.
Oh,
I feel like we just ended winter sports and now we're in spring sports. And I think I shared with you, Safi decided she's going to be a lacrosse player.
Yeah.
And I'm super happy. She's stuck with it.
Good.
She's hilarious.
Good.
I don't know if I shared with you that last Thursday they had ski week and she was very mad she didn't get to go skiing because we do not own a house in Tahoe and we should buy her one and all the equipment. And why is she the only person
who
in the
didn't go
whole
skiing?
world
Who didn't go
that
skiing?
didn't go to ski week? So
I love that.
So she was at her practice.
She should have called me. I would have taken her skiing.
Okay, you can take her skiing with you, please. She would love it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Happy. So she's at practice, and the coach, she goes, "All right, Safi, I have a job for you." So my best story of the week, and she goes, "Okay, you're gonna go out there, and I think it's called the defender. I'm still learning about lacrosse. I know nothing. And you're just gonna hit the sticks. Get out there and just hit the balls out of the stick."
Oh my God, that's a perfect job for her.
So she goes out there and she's like, "Arr!" She's just hitting the balls up there. She's like, "I hit like 10 out of the stick." I'm like, "Oh, that's so good. The kids are going to be like scared to death. You're like a linebacker running it down." Arr!
Oh my God, that's so great.
So she hits him out of the stick, and then she was practicing. She made 2 goals, I guess. Like they were practicing. And I guess the coach told her, "Okay, when you make a goal, you drop your stick and you do a trick." So she's like, "So Mom, I made a goal and then dropped my stick and I did the splits." And like, I'm just like, "Oh my God, you're too much."
I love her.
She's so cute. So that was funny. And then Abby went to her first track meet with Abby this weekend, who we learned about. Have any of your kids ever done track?
So actually, funny story, Callan just got into track and field,
Okay.
but he's doing the shot put.
Oh, good. Yeah, a lot
throw
of
the ball, right?
Yeah. A lot of like the buff
Yeah.
wrestling kind of kids, football players.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
So we went to this meet all day. So I learned a lot about like the
because
things that I'll give you some tips.
We'll talk
on
offline
that.
because I don't even know what.
Yeah, it's a long day.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. So we learned that if you go and certain events don't have like people or enough people, you just like at this one it was more of a friendly tournament, but you can register and then you get points. So we're getting kind of towards the end of the day, and there was nobody to do hurdles for Cardinal Newman.
Yeah.
So Abby decides that she's like, "I just talked to the coach. I'm just going to go down and do hurdles." And like, you've never jumped a hurdle in your life. Like, let's not break your knee or your leg or your head. Whatever.
And she's like, "Whatever, I'll
do
do it."
So it was so funny. So she does it, and there's only 3 girls, 1 varsity and 2 JV. So she came in second, and they were giving out like really nice medals. She's like, "I just wanted a medal," like and
Love
the
it.
JV girls ended up winning the whole tournament. So that was kind of really fun. But the funniest part was the boys. There was this boy, and he decided to, Abby's doing it, so he does it.
Yeah.
So he literally stands there, and he just like jumps like a bunny over the hurdles, because you're supposed to like run and do it, but he's like, "I got the points for the team." Like, it doesn't matter how you go over.
And he's like, "I have no idea what I'm doing."
It was hilarious.
Oh my God, that's
but
great.
it's fun. So maybe I think we'll get to play each other in a meet.
I don't know. I have an appointment, of course, for work on Saturday, and Callan told me on like Tuesday, he's like, "I've got a truck meet this weekend."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what are the details? What time do you have to be there?
Yeah.
What time do you do this? And he's like, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the hard part is like a lot of times like we're, on these different apps and it's not just like one app, but this sport has this app and I don't know.
It's all over the place. And it's funny because I was talking to somebody at the gym like yesterday or the day before and they're like, oh, what's going on? And I was like, I'm busy. And it's not even that I'm just busy with work. It's just
life.
It's the trying to keep track of what's happening with my children.
Yes, that is a huge thing.
It mentally like just takes it out of me sometimes because it's like wrestling, he would be done at 7:00. So, and it's me changing my schedule too.
Well,
so
right.
I used to go to the gym at 6 so that way I can pick him up at 7 because he's in a different town than we live. But now I'm seeing all these new faces because I'm like, nope, I'm back to 4:30 because I have to pick him up at 5:30. And I'm just like, I can't wait for this kid to get his license.
This week, the worst was, the boys have lacrosse practice. So our practice ends an hour early. Well, how do I know that? So Sappy's like, where are you? I'm like, I like plan my life. I think we've shared this down to the minute. So but if you're ending a half hour, hour early, like I may not be there because I won't be over here.
Or running late. That drives me bonkers. Like football practice was like
half hour
always late. And it's like we have stuff to do. Like cooking dinner, get homework done.
8:00 or 8:30.
Yeah, get all this stuff. So it's just the hustle and bustle of just all of it. Mm-hmm. It just mentally drains me sometimes.
So I've been really busy with real estate, just a lot of things like getting in the pipeline, for spring and putting listings, but staging has been off the hook crazy because everybody's getting ready for that spring market. So we've seen like a little bit of inventory kind of pop up and I know there's more to come and it's kind of fun because I get that like sneak peek of things that are not just in our office, even though I stage a lot for Vanguard.
Totally.
And I try to, prioritize that because you are my people. But I've been kind of doing that. So I was at this property the other day and we're in a really pretty property and it kind of turned out like they were not supposed to be living there. Okay.
Okay.
Because I really don't want to stage houses that people live in.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't really want to stage houses with pets. That's just a no.
Yeah.
But I've kind of been, I don't want to say tricked, but I've been tricked a few times into the situation changing and me not finding out until I show up.
Wow.
The situation has changed.
Communication, people. Communication.
Just, I understand and I try to be flexible.
I get it.
So I'm at this house and they decided, like when we did it, sometimes people will ask, well, if they have nice pieces or beds especially, because they're, hard to move in and out.
Right.
If they have pieces, I can give a discount of a price based on what I can use.
Yeah.
But I do not often like staging with other people's things, and you might ask why. Well, it's easy when I have certain rooms that go together and that kind of. So when I'm trying to match your, purple couch because you think it's lovely, it's. It's not.
You're like, I want neutral tones on the staging.
I don't really want purple. But anyways, so it's, I try to be a little bit more picky about what I'm picking. So anyways, this house, it turned out they were supposed to leave like the beds and the sofas, but then they were going to go move to like a furnished apartment in Petaluma, and it turned out like they decided they were just going to stay. So we go and we stage, and they have 2 dogs, which I wasn't aware of, and they barked for hours and hours and hours. And my assistant and I were like laughing because we're like, we just can't make this up.
Yeah.
Like, nobody would believe us.
Yeah.
But the best part of the day, I've never had this happen. So I am like, we're making the primary bed, and I have all this like brand new pretty bedding, and I'm putting it on, and all of a sudden, this cat, which I didn't know there was a cat in there, runs out from under the bed in between my legs, and I scream, and the owner's like, "Are you okay?"
You're like, you didn't tell me you had a cat.
Yeah. So
oh my god, that
was my like funny story. It was like.
Yeah.
In all these things that you do, you think you're a professional. I've been a realtor for over 20 years. I've, been an accredited stager for over 15 years.
Yeah.
And you think you have the questions mastered, but it's almost like, can you tell me all the people that live in your house? Can you tell me the animals that live in your house or that used to live in your house?
Pet snake. What do you have?
Well, funny enough, I was telling another agent, one of my first years of selling, I went to a house to show it, and I opened the door and I was going in the bedroom, and there was a giant like snake tank in there.
Oh. I would be terrified.
But there was no snake in it.
Oh.
So the snake comes out.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It's like got out. It, like, I guess it's like, oh, yeah, like whatever, Misty or whatever.
It just slithers around.
Used to just pop its head out. I, like, in life, there are a couple things that terrify me. Now, I can deal with a mouse or a rodent, which I hate, over a snake.
No, I can't.
But a snake puts me in cardiac arrest.
Oh my God, I would be terrified.
So I remember just running out of the house, like leaving the door like wide open. I don't know what happened to Misty the snake, and I'm like, I can't go back there.
I would have been like, no.
No, it was like this big around. It was like one of those yellow and white things.
Oh, like a boa constrictor?
I don't know what it was, but it was scary. So yeah, we talk about like things that happen that nobody believes.
Oh yeah, I feel like if I just like followed you around with a video camera, like it all happens to you.
But
too.
in 20 plus years, like you just see a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a lot that happens that you never, you don't expect. When you make an appointment at a house to people be having sex upstairs, like you just don't expect that to happen. Okay? Like you have an appointment for 2:00 on Tuesday. You set it up, you talk to the people, you come home and you hear noises and you're like, hello, and they open the door butt naked. Like you don't expect that.
Yep. Oh my God. Okay, let's go on to our next section because we can talk about ourselves for a really long time. Yes. I feel like with our Swiftie standout of the week. So I wanted to just touch base and follow up because we sold the house that we did was that episode 1 that we did?
Yeah.
Our very first episode was filmed at Beaver Street. So go back and watch that if you haven't already done so. But sweet, Shannon staged it. It was adorable. Well, we sold it. So it closed last week, which it was a probate sale. We had listed that property at $599 in the JC neighborhood of Santa Rosa. And we just closed it. It closed in 14 days after our accepted offer for $68,000 over asking. So we closed at $667,000.
Yay!
So,
Congratulations!
But I actually wanted to just say thank you that, my seller didn't even take the highest offer.
So tell me about that. We were just talking about that the other day with some clients. Why didn't they? I'm just curious, like for their own perspective.
So we ended up having 11 offers on that one, and we did what is called a multi-counter offer. So we tried to really even out the offers, we'll say is kind of the best way to explain it.
Did you counter all 11, or did you do like highest and best, or did you?
We countered a majority of them. I think there was 2 of them that just, I make a phone call first, like, hey, do they want to be in it? Do they, whatever. Okay. So we tried to really even the playing field as far as terms and such goes, but somebody came back and it really came down to terms on this one for a probate sale. They wanted to make it an easy close, really is what it came down to. And this one had the best terms, even though it wasn't the highest offer.
Terms can make or break a transaction.
That's exactly right.
And it doesn't matter because, as I always try to explain, and I think you do too, it's monopoly money until it closes. Like people can throw out money,
right?
And, but it comes down to those terms,
right?
And those contingency releases, and what works for your seller.
That's exactly.
And leaving some money on the table. But here's the deal: if that doesn't close, you have to start over.
Yep.
And you may not get even close to what that other offer was.
That's exactly right. And we ended up having a backup offer. So somebody who would be able to fill into a position if for some reason something didn't go through. But my client was really, really excited. She was thrilled at the outcome, and she was just amazing to work with. So so I wanted to follow up on that. And then I wanted to just quickly go through, we have a lot of things happening with Santa Rosa City Schools. I'm not sure if anyone locally has heard, but school shutdowns, proposed school shutdowns. We've had budget cuts, a lot of violence happening, and then also death. We've had a few, tragically, this last week, it was announced that there was 4 teenagers who passed away from what they believe a fentanyl overdose. But this is all kind of happening within our community, and not to just get too much into what's actually happening as far as the budget cuts and school closures, but let's talk about the effects on real estate, I think, with what's going on, just because it's giving me the chills. Especially when it's so close to us, especially really since we have high schoolers.
It's really close to home. And I think like the one thing about, just to say about like some of this, the violence and the death, especially like with drugs.
Yeah.
when I went to school and you went to school, we had the DARE program, and my brother's a police officer. And I'm like, where's the DARE program?
Yeah.
Like,
wait, is it not in the schools anymore?
Oh, no, they cut it out like years ago.
Oh
not enough budget cuts, right?
Yeah.
But, whether or not people laugh or take it seriously, like, you need to know what's happening. Like, when we were kids, I think you could go to a party, drink beer, smoke some pot. Like, if that was a thing. And there was kids who did hardcore drugs. But nowadays, with this fentanyl epidemic, like, your pot can be laced with it. Somebody could put it in your drink.
Totally.
Like, people think they're taking, like, an Adderall and it's laced with fentanyl. Right. Not to say that you're, letting your kids do drugs. That's not what I mean. But, like, I tell my kids, like, basically, like, if you touch any drug, gummy, I don't know, that's coming from anybody, you can die.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm that blunt. Like, one taste of it, you could be dead.
Absolutely.
And it's so scary.
Quickly, just to put on that, I used to teach CPR and first aid. Narcan is the reversal for a fentanyl overdose. So look it up, Google it.
Well, and there's many organizations that are doing, like, and I know Santa Rosa has them, and Petaluma, like, we've gone to them. There's actually, like, parent groups you can go to. And it's not saying, once again, that you're condoning your children, but your children need to know, one, what happens if they're at a party or something happens. Everyone should be carrying Narcan with them, because what if a friend or you're there and you have that opportunity to help or save somebody? Because a lot of times this is not a habitual drug addict. This is a kid, like, thinking they're having fun and, oh, my friend did it, I'm going to try it, and you hope that you're really teaching that, just say no.
And they are just, So, needless to say, we can go on and on about that. But my quick question for you, before we have to wrap it up, is what the effects of real estate are going to be, especially with everything that's happening within Santa Rosa at this point.
I think there's a lot of, concern, because as we're guiding our clients to pick homes, if they have kids in neighborhoods, we're often, schools are, a number one thing when, I have clients moving and you do, it's kind of like, well, I have kids, I have two, what grades are they in? What are the schools? What are the school scores? What are they offering? So when you face closures and then you start to see things like budget cuts, it starts to affect, well, are we going to move here? Because, like, is there going to be a school for our child? And if not, do I want my kid to go to the school where maybe there's drugs? Now, there's probably drugs at every school. The thing about drugs is they don't discriminate from public or private schools.
But when you have a headline happening,
it's terrifying.
Absolutely. And especially if that's the district that you will
100%
be in.
And I personally think we'll see a spike in private school registries. I mean, I do think that some people will think that's a solution. I think we might see people moving out of the area.
That's kind of what I'm feeling.
I think that's really, scary. My suggestion to people is, do your homework, do your research, go visit the schools, because some of these schools are great. They have great teachers and caring staff, but you also do not want to move to a neighborhood where you're being told that, this is the school you're going to go to, and now you have to, for some people it could be a commute issue.
That's
how
exactly.
Are their kids going to get, 15 miles away, because as you know, with budget cuts many years ago, there's not a lot of school buses or transportation, which is another issue we faced several years ago. So I think we need to turn the table on the headlines. Because and start talking about the positive offerings of the schools, because it is going to scare people away.
And I just know that our community is, I don't know, this is a huge upset with everything that's happening.
Between the schools and then this happening all in the same week, it's devastating.
It's a lot.
So,
well, and now what they're proposing, because they were going to propose a high school closing, they're proposing a middle school closing.
No, they're proposing several middle schools closing.
And then putting those middle school kids into the high school level.
So how do you feel about your 6th through possibly 8th graders going on a high school campus? I think that's terrifying.
I barely wanted my 6th grader being on a middle school campus.
Correct.
So that's also part of the conversation right now in an upset, because, I mean, my 12-year-old being with an 18-year-old is a whole different story.
Well, there's a very big developmental issue.
Absolutely.
And I can say this because there's people I know just that their kids have skipped grades and they should be in 7th or 8th grade,
Right.
and now they're in 9th or 10th grade.
Yeah.
And they were kind of thrown into high school right now, and they're having a hard time socially, and they're seeing things and maybe doing things that they shouldn't be doing until they're 18. Yeah. And so you're exposed to, and I mean, I hate to say it, but girls especially, like, they look a lot older than they are,
Yeah.
And I just worry about that. I hope they get it together with our budgets.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get some good news that will come of all of this, in the future. But it's one of the proposals I will say while we wrap it up is my vote was in Petaluma and Santa Rosa. I feel like they should be combining all these school districts into one. And have, like, I think with budget cuts, when I worked for the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Why? Because you're saying because all of the district transfers and within?
Well, I mean, I grew up in Novato.
Yeah.
We have Novato Unified School District.
Yeah.
So there's one admin office. So you have one superintendent. You have an assistant. You have, your accounting department. You have to realize, like, this admin cost for 10 different school districts is huge. And that money, I feel like, could be used for our students.
Yeah, absolutely.
Versus having, 6 accountants, 6 secretaries, 6 whatever. So when I worked for Boys and Girls Club, that's how we saved the club. So we have clubs here. Is we have Boys and Girls Clubs of now it's Sonoma Marin, because they couldn't operate on their own and afford them. So
I like your idea.
Yeah, and I think it's all about the kids, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
let's make their school experience fantastic.
So, okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you in a couple weeks.
Bye, guys.